Hey guys, welcome to the 2 Million Minutes podcast, how to make the most of your 4 years in college. I'm Rosan, and during finals week, my friend Lucas and I picked the brains of Harvard seniors and asked them to reflect on their college experiences, break down how they approach different aspects of college life, and share lessons they learned with future students. In this episode, we are talking with Miles McCollum, who concentrated in economics with a secondary in social anthropology. As a defensive end for the Harvard football team, Miles talks to us about how he juggled being an athlete and a student at the same time. Time management proved crucial, and he shares some of the tools he used to be productive, such as listening to folk music while writing papers or blocking social media. Using his strategies, he consistently got enough sleep and only pulled one all-nighter during college. So we hope this episode will be helpful. Let's crack right into the conversation. Here is Miles McCollum.
All right, so Miles, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You're a defensive end on the football team here at Harvard.
Correct, yeah.
And you're graduating this year.
Yeah.
So first of all, how does it feel to graduate?
Feels incredible. Finished up on Monday, so literally not too long ago. But it's one of the best feelings ever. You guys have a lot to look forward to in terms of that. But yeah, it feels pretty good. So
Great. We're planning on starting off by talking a little bit about your time here at Harvard. Obviously, one of the biggest things that you've been involved in is football.
yeah.
What is one of the big takeaways that you've had?
I think the biggest takeaway from football is, you really learn how to manage your time. You have to be at workouts and stuff. They call it Murphy time. So you have to get there 15 minutes early. So everything you're doing, you're taking that into account. When you have workouts in the spring and we're getting up early, 4 or 5 days a week, you have to go to bed early. So that kind of bumps everything up in your schedule. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from the football experience is, learning how to manage your time and make the most of it. And whether that's doing homework during the day or, getting up early to do homework after workouts, before class, that sort of thing, you kind of find those extra hours. And I think that's
Sweet.
It's really important.
So, how did your time management, so to say, change, comparing freshman fall to now?
I think the biggest thing is you just get way more comfortable with it. Freshman fall, you're kind of thrown in the fire, so to speak. So it's almost like a sink or swim attitude, but you have people that are there to help you, people that have done it before, so that's huge. But I think as you progress through your years here, you just get more comfortable with the people you're around. You get more comfortable with the coaches. Picking classes isn't as stressful, so to speak. So that's the biggest thing is the comfortability that comes with doing that every single day. So,
Sweet. So, when do you usually wake up, or when do you go to bed, and how does your first hour of the day look like?
Yeah, so it's been a little different this spring, not having it, which has been fun. But pretty much freshman year through this past fall, we would have workouts. So in the spring, it was 4 or 5 days a week in the mornings. Those usually started at 6:30. So you wake up 5:30, catch the shuttle over there. The guys in the quad have to get up earlier, so thankfully I was in that group. And then you pretty much lock it in the mornings until 7:30 or 8, and then you usually go as a team, go get breakfast somewhere, usually Annenberg, and then classes 10, 11, that sort of thing. So you figure it out pretty soon. But.
And what are some strategies you use to get that work done and get to bed earlier?
I don't know. One big thing that I had to do actually is I set up this thing on my computer that would block distractions.
Oh, yeah?
It's called self-control.
So,
Yeah, you guys never use that. But so I would set a timer for 45 minutes and just do work for 45 minutes and then take a 10 or 15 minute break and check my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of helps, because you have something to look forward to, and because otherwise you could spend as much time as you want doing stuff, and
Definitely. So you use that. So the way that app works is you literally set a timer for how long it's going to block like Facebook.
Yeah, well, and you can manually decide to the websites you want to block.
So you would use that as a reward system. It sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, okay. I would.
That's interesting.
So.
Quick side note: if I use this other one called Freedom, which is interesting because you can set recurring blocks.
Oh.
So you don't even have to have the self-control to start it. It does it for you, which that helps me.
Yeah, it takes the decision making out of it.
Check that out if you still need it.
Are there any other, because that's very interesting, are there any applications or software or anything else that you use to keep yourself in check?
I mean, Google Calendar is huge. If I ever have something that pops up, put it in there as soon as I can, usually. I also like the one that takes out the blue light on your computer.
Oh, for
nice.
sure.
I don't know if you guys use that.
Flux.
Yeah, because that makes it easier to go to bed, I guess, if you're staying up late doing work, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Makes it easier to fall asleep.
Yeah. That's pretty much the extent of the application that I would say.
That's a good list, though.
No, that's awesome.
Great. So how many hours a week did you spend practicing during the season?
It's hard to say. During the season, we would say, so I think the limit is maybe 20 hours a week. But I think, each person in each position group puts in their own time, watching film, that sort of thing, meeting with coaches. So I think it was probably closer to 30 hours a week.
Okay.
Which, it makes it kind of a full-time job.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Did you watch film of yourself or of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much every practice we had was filmed. So we would watch that every day, every different drill and stuff we were doing, and then we would also watch game film of ourselves from the previous week, that sort of thing, and then also opponents. So we had a pretty good system that broke it all down, and coaches were really good about telling us what we'd be able to watch and what we can get out of that film time in order to maximize that. So you're not just kind of watching something, because when let's say when I'm watching a game for fun on TV, you're watching the ball. Usually you're watching the quarterback, but you can't really do that when you're the one in the game. So you learn to see things from a different perspective, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that's very interesting, the self-analyzing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that in some way translated into academics?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because it's about, reflection and taking a step back and, looking at, hey, what can I do better next time? So, yeah, I mean, I would do that all the time in academics, I think. I think when you get feedback on an assignment, that's really valuable because you can kind of take that into account and change your game plan, so to speak.
Yeah.
What were some of the specific things in the video that that the coach told you to look out for that you looked out for, and how did you take a look at the video and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do next time?
Yeah. So I guess when you're watching film of an opponent, the biggest thing you can take away from that is little things. So it's body language. You might be able to tell the play basically from the formation, or you might be able to tell what play is coming up based on the body language of the offensive tackle. If he's sitting back on his heels, he's probably going to drop back for a pass to pass block. So then you can kind of change your mindset when you see something like that. And it really, I think, the thing that serves to do is break down the speed of the game, because if you have to do less processing of that, while you're on the field, you can kind of focus on just playing fast, that sort of thing.
Definitely. Okay, so tell us a little bit about, so back to managing academics.
Yeah.
You concentrated on economics. Why did you get interested in that?
I think the most interesting thing about econ for me was just the real world application that you could use from the whole supply demand stuff, like setting prices, that sort of thing. I think I've been someone who's always wanted to own a business at some point, and I think having that foundational knowledge is really important to being able to kind of run a company in the future.
Yeah.
So, which I've not narrowed that no progress there yet, but
no pressure to.
No,
But
So-
that's what kind of got me interested.
And you also have a secondary in social and anthropology.
Yeah.
So how did that, like, why did you choose to pursue
Yeah.
that as well?
So I think the thing that was interesting with that is, I think it's nice that students at Harvard only take 4 classes a semester. I think it allows you to kind of focus on things that are important to you, but at the same time, you don't have as much flexibility when it comes to finding new things you're interested in. So I think the thing I liked about social anthropology is it was one of those classes that I just took kind of on a whim. It was an introductory class to it, and it was something I really liked and enjoyed. And I think it provides a different perspective than econ, which is a lot about numbers and theories and how everything should theoretically work. But social anthropology is more about people and culture and like the application of these ideas.
Yeah.
So it was more, it appealed to kind of the side of me that is interested in like culture, that sort of thing, as well as like the side that's like, hey, if we have this idea, how are we actually going to put it into practice? How can we communicate effectively to these people? That sort of thing. So I thought that provided an interesting perspective.
No, that's a very interesting combination.
Yeah.
And were there any classes outside of these subject areas that you enjoyed particularly?
Yeah. I think some of the most interesting classes I've taken are ones that aren't traditional classes. So I took a class that was about shipwrecks last year.
Oh wow!
And we actually got the chance to visit a shipwreck in Ipswich, Massachusetts, and we dug up some sand on the beach, and we were able to kind of date this ship, which was kind of cool. And I think that's an experience not many people have when they go to college. I think that's something that's probably unique at Harvard, is having a class that's sort of like that. Some of the other ones I've taken, this one was more econ related, but it was called Understanding Altruism. So it was about how to kind of get people to be like more altruistic, that sort of thing. And it was a lot about like analyzing the quirks that people have in terms of altruistic acts and thinking about the way people think. So I don't know. There's all kinds of interesting stuff out there.
How did you? Was that something you really wanted to do? Taking like classes that were a little bit out there?
Yeah, that was something I think I made the decision on pretty early. I think when you're part of a group, whether that's like a football team or a club or something like that, there's a tendency to want to stick with those kind of people where you're comfortable. And a lot of times that means taking the classes that they take. But I think when you really kind of push your comfort zones, that's when you're able to really develop your own personality and grow as a person, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I tried not to take a lot of the classes that my teammates did, and that didn't always work out. Sometimes that was the case. But I think some of the more interesting things I've learned here have been in classes where you're forced to branch out and meet new people, that sort of thing.
Okay. How would you say that what's the biggest thing you've learned since freshman year about any part of the college experience?
Okay. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is I think most of your education doesn't necessarily have to come from the classroom or the field even. It could be, like I said, putting yourself in new situations. I think being a guy that comes from the Midwest, I think, you're kind of taking a leap of faith when you're going somewhere where you don't know as many people. And what was the question again?
Biggest thing you've learned since freshman year.
Biggest thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I think, just realizing that, I've never regretted time that I spent with my friends, with my blockmates. So that time is valuable too. That's a part of your education that a lot of people tend to overlook, I think,
Fair,
I
yeah.
think exploring the city of Boston is awesome, and I think Harvard can be kind of a bubble at times, so it's about putting yourself out there.
How often would you say you got out into the city of Boston?
I mean, not as much as I would have liked, but I spent a summer up here last summer, and that was definitely a good time to do that, because a lot of times on the weekends we wouldn't have much to do, so we would go downtown and find cool new places. There was always cool festivals going on, and I think obviously the sports teams in Boston are huge, and there's cheap tickets for students that a lot of people don't even realize. It's
Where can people find those cheap tickets?
Online. I don't know. Like there's Red Sox tickets, you can get those for $10, and so I think those experiences are easy to overlook as being like part of the whole college experience, and I think they're just as important. So.
And how do you think your Harvard experience, so to say, as a student athlete, differed from someone else's Harvard experience? I don't know, like what were some?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to speak on that too much, just because I think everyone else has different experiences, and I don't think one's like better than the other. But I think as an athlete, that dominates part of your life, and that's not the whole person like I am, but it is a big part of the person I am. And so yeah, I mean, I think the experience probably is a little more structured than another student's experience, where they may have a little more flexibility to go travel if they want, study abroad, that sort of thing. And I know people that have done that, but it might be a little more difficult as an athlete. So,
What is something you learned freshman year that turned out to be false?
Let me think about that. I think there's this idea that Harvard is like easy because there's this whole like concept of grade inflation that everyone talks about, and I think that's like, it really depends on the person. I think you can really make of the experience like what you want. It can be as hard as you want. It can be as easy as you want. So yeah, there's this like idea that just because maybe the most frequent grade is an A, then that it makes it easy. So yeah.
So you think that's not accurate?
I don't think that's accurate. Okay. But
interesting.
Cool.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Like in many ways, it can put like pressure on people.
Yeah.
Because there's like this perceived, this perception that it's supposed to be easy, and if it's not, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think recognizing that too and making the most of it.
For sure. So like, since you're kind of graduating, I don't know. How do you think you have changed, or what was Harvard's role in like your development over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think essentially I'm the same person as I was when I came in.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is good. But I feel more aware of, everything that's going on in the world. Just being here, just based on, everyone that we're around is really up to date on everything, and I feel like I'm a more informed person, a more informed citizen, and I think it's really valuable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you find that you get most of that on campus?
I think it would just be like, friends and teammates, and you have conversations with people that like let's say like we're in the locker room, like a lot of times we talk about politics, that sort of thing, and I don't know if those conversations are things that are happening in other schools' locker rooms, So yeah, but so I think I think you're challenged to be great, and you're challenged to be like the best person you can be, and I think being around those types of people that also have those high aspirations and goals really encourages that.
Yeah. I like that.
That's really cool. So maybe a different type of question. What's your favorite spot on campus?
My favorite spot on campus, like to hang out or
Just anything really. If you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think. I'm a big like coffee shop guy. So I think my favorite spots are like El Gato Rojo. Kind of I like those vibes there. There's always cool music going on. And then kind of over near Mather, there's a coffee shop called Petsy Pies. It's always pretty good. And it, when you go to those like especially over in that area, you feel kind of removed from the campus, which is a little refreshing, even though you're not. Really.
Yeah.
I enjoy those kind of places.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. One thing I've noticed with a lot of seniors is that they try to find some way to escape the bubble.
Yeah.
But what are since you have such a tight schedule, what are other things that keep you sane here at Harvard?
Other things that keep me sane.
Yeah, something that
I think I really enjoy going to friends events, kind of like one of my teammates the other day was in a dance recital thing that he had put together, and I think that you gain a lot from going out to that sort of thing and supporting those kinds of people. I love seeing local kind of bands around here, especially on campus. There's always people playing, in small venues, that sort of thing. And I think, when you go out to support someone, it means a lot to them, and it's a chance to escape for a bit. And,
Any plugs for places that students should check out for local bands?
Yeah, I was actually at the Sinclair last night, which was a lot of fun. That's something I hadn't gone to until this year. So we actually saw Designer. It's the guy who sings Panda. So
wow,
band,
wow.
Cool. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so coffee shops and local bands.
Yeah.
How else do you spend your time?
Like I said, just hanging out with blockmates. I think that's some of the best relationships I have. And it doesn't even really matter what we're doing. We could be playing video games or, like I said, going to a Red Sox game. Just hanging out, being a part of that kind of group is something that's really important to me.
What do you think is the best de-stressor when you're, working really hard, trying to finish whatever assignment it is? What's the best thing to do that doesn't get you sidetracked? For you, obviously not, case by case.
Yeah. I think music goes along with that, because that's something that you can listen to kind of wherever you're at, whether in your room, in the library, even you can have your headphones on. And that's one way to kind of escape, and I think music has the power to bring you to a certain mindset. There's memories tied to music, whatever. But you can also kind of put on some music that'll get you in the zone, that sort of thing. The stuff I listen to when I work out is different than the stuff I listen to
for sure.
when I'm writing a paper. But I think.
So what's an example of the two different types?
I'm a big folk music guy. Kind of when I'm writing papers, I think that puts me in the right mood, creative mood. But then when I'm lifting, it's either rap or rock or whatever. Red Hot Chili Peppers, one of my favorites.
Sweet. Sweet. Put that on my phrase.
It kind of
Yeah.
gets you in the mood.
What were the what was the most common workout, or what was that like?
On the football team,
Yeah.
most common workout. So basically, we followed the program provided by the strength coaches, and the workouts that we did were never like upper body workouts, lower body workouts. So it was always like full body stuff. So, which I really enjoyed. I think when you use that kind of dynamic approach, that's when you're able to get better physically. So, yeah, we would always do like leg stuff, always do upper body stuff. You know, it was kind of kept you on your toes, obviously. And then I think in the spring the workouts really crank up. And one of my favorite times was we would do this thing called Bumpocalypse. So it was right at the end of spring. Everyone, we would test all our lifts. So everyone would kind of hype it up like it was like you prepare for this like it's a game almost. And you know you're listening to music and everyone's taking pre-workout and that's and the coaches are there and it's really intense and but that's a lot of fun and that was always something to look forward to at the end of the spring.
It's awesome.
Right before
That's
spring.
that's really cool. So maybe
Yeah.
along that same line, diet. Like, how does that work? How is that managed with the Hud's food and whatnot?
Yeah, lots of grilled chicken, brown rice. Basically, you want to eat like till you're full and then eat some more too, which is tough at times. That's been the biggest adjustment since post football life is kind of returning to a normal appetite, kind of resetting the metabolism, that kind of thing. So, you'd always try to eat what was healthy, and then always at least 2 plates at dinner and pretty much every meal.
It sounds like you're just loading up on the basics.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
it. A lot of water.
That makes
stay
sense.
hydrated.
Great. Yeah, and did you find that at all the stress of academics interfered with your physical health at all? Or was there any conflict between the two?
Well, let me think. I personally, for me, I don't think so. One thing that I made a priority was sleep.
Yeah.
I think you kind of have to as an athlete if you want to perform on the field and in the classroom. You have to have 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night. So I only pulled one all-nighter my 4 years here.
Wow.
Respect.
It's probably pretty rare.
Yeah.
But I think, it's about making sleep a priority, and that translates to the rest of your life. And, things get done. So whether that's like a paper or I never, you can't worry about it too much because it usually works out.
Did you ever feel like it was hard to get involved with the non-athletic
That's a good
portions of the student body, having to spend all the time that you did involved in football?
Yeah, definitely. I think by the nature of athletics, you spend a lot of time with a certain group of people, and a lot of times you'll end up spending time with those people out of on this side of the river as well, just based on kind of interest, that sort of thing. I think house life was something I wish I had gotten a little more involved in, and something I've tried to get more involved in the spring, without having the time commitment of football, which has been nice. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot of flexibility in terms of kind of like a lot of the HOCO meetings might be late, that sort of thing. So like as an athlete, you just don't really get involved in those because you have workouts, that sort of thing. So I think there's definitely guys on the team that I played with that are more involved in things outside of football than others. But I think it really depends on the individual, what they're able to handle in terms of time commitment. If someone's a person that really needs their kind of alone time to recuperate and kind of cope with everything that's going on, then they should be able to do that. But then other people thrive off energy from others and are kind of enjoy being on 24 hours a day, that sort of thing. So I think it really depends on the individual.
All right. Well, Miles, what are you looking forward to after graduation?
What am I looking forward to?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing is, well, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna miss college a lot. I think the group of people that I hang out with are awesome individuals, and I've really enjoyed 4 years spent here. But I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is being able to travel, having that sort of flexibility that comes with not having to be at school all the time. And I think spending time with family is big too.
Yeah.
I think being kind of away for school, that kind of limits the interactions with your family to kind of holidays, that sort of thing, phone calls. And that was something that was an adjustment, I think. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is kind of hanging out with them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And any advice for, I don't know, incoming freshmen to juniors about their time here at Harvard? If there's one thing that you could tell them.
I would say just enjoy it. It goes fast. It sounds cliche, but be open to new opportunities. If you get a call from a friend to go to a concert or do something that you've never done before, I think you should take that chance. And like I said before, I think when you put yourself in new situations, you grow as a person, and I think that all starts with being open, and that's being open to new ideas and stuff you've never heard before, as well as open to new experiences, that sort of thing.
Well, I think that sounds great. Miles, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thanks for listening.